Hey everyone, let's talk about shoes. Before I go any further with this, I just got to say all these shoes were sent to me by different manufacturers so I could play them and review them. They had no say in this review and I'm not being compensated for this review. I do have discount codes for every single one of these shoes, so if you choose to use my code, thank you very much. I get commission on the back end for that. But hey, no pressure whatsoever. Just want to inform you about the products that are out there and things that I think you should be looking at. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so I'm going to start at the low end and we're going to work our way up to the premier gold, platinum, top end tennis shoes. Well, I guess I should say pickleball shoes, shouldn't I? So pickleball shoes, we are going to be using some terminology that I want to cover with everyone so you understand what we're talking about. And also I'm going to start with the entry level and I'm going to work my way up to the premier player. Every day I'm doing this for a living type shoes in this lineup. But we're going to use some terminology that I want to make sure everybody's clear on. So the first thing we're going to talk about is TPU, and that means thermoplastic polyurethane. And the thermoplastic polyurethane is how they put stiffness in the side of your shoe. So whenever you feel a shoe, even the shoes you have on right now, if you press on the sides, that would be the TPC inside that shoe giving you that support. And they do it all the way around. So when you hear me talk about TPU and where they reinforce it, wherever they put it on the shoe, it does different things, different characteristics on different parts of the shoe. So we'll talk about that, but just wanted to inform you on what that means. And so you can have it on the toe guard. We can have it for sidewall support. We can have it in the midfoot inside here. So you can put it here, which I'll point out in some of the models that we have here. And one of the things that about it though is that it's lighter weight, but it provides support. And so there's certain ways that they'll use it to support your foot, but you got to know that any shoe that it has high TPC, like they use a lot of this to support the shoe, they have a little bit of longer break-in period. So when you're starting off with new shoes, you don't want to wear them and go do a 3-hour session. That's going to hurt your feet. So what you want to do is you want to start off wearing them around the house. You walk around in them, it starts breaking them in, and then you start playing in them. And then eventually you work your way up to where you can wear them all day and they mold to your feet. The more they get sweaty and the more that they shape to your feet, then they'll be more comfortable. So there is a break-in period for high TPC, stiffer shoes. So starting off this journey is going to be the men's CourtStrike from Selkirk. I'll say the first Selkirk models that they came out with, they weren't that great. The soles wore off on them really quickly. This is like after 3 months of use. And so they took the feedback from these. These were the labs shoes, same labs program. People gave feedback. And then this is the low end model that they came out with. This is the entry level. This is for players that are, they love playing pickleball, but they're not doing it all day long every day, or they're not making huge lateral cuts. This still has great stability on the side. So you do have lateral stability. We'll get into that in a second, but this is more for the casual player, not the tournament player that's going to be doing this all day long. So this is entry level, $100 for it. If you use our code INF-Pirates, you can get a $20 gift card in the mail back for spending this $100. And then you can spend that on your next purchase at Selkirk. And that's what they give you for this. Let's talk about what they've done with this so we can talk about the features in it and just on the price point where it falls. So lateral stability does have a pretty good toe kick out here, right? So it does come outside the ball of the foot. It's got a toe kick right here. It's got about a 1/2 inch outside on the toe kick. It really gives you some good stability out here on the outside. So you don't roll much in this. It has a pretty good heel. The foam. Now, speaking into the comfort of this shoe, this is a shoe that you could wear all day. I actually wear these. These are my shoes that I wear around the house. I have shoe inserts in here for my plantar fasciitis, and inserts are comfortable in here. It's something that I wear all day long. So it has enough cushion in there for that. I will say that the cushion, if you like a very smooth, smushy cushion, you're going to want to change the insoles on these. These are still on the thinner side. They still have some good foam to it. You can still feel that it's pretty dense foam, but obviously it's not really thick foam. One of the things they did really good on these shoes is it's very breathable. So all of these areas over here, this is all breathable mesh. And so you can see the bigger holes. It's got some bigger holes here, and those bigger holes help it breathe in the spots where your feet get sweaty. And so I found that even wearing these all day, my feet aren't dying wearing these shoes all day. I will say they do not have a really high any TPC here in the side. So this is all mesh. And so if you have like a higher foot or a higher center of gravity, or you got a high arch, you just got to be aware that the side here, it's got support on the bottom here, but maybe your foot might shift a little bit on top of this on your really hard cuts. That's the only drawback I could say say about this with the support here. And there's a little bit of support around the toe. So they do have a TPU layer here. So it's got some support here all the way down to the side here. So all of this black area right here, if you can see that shiny black area, all of this has the TPU in it with a little bit of reinforcement in here. That's all I got on these comfortable shoes, $100 in the Selkirk store. That's the one that's kicking us off today, and we'll just jump on to the next one. And next on the list is the Diadem Court Flo. So this is their second generation of shoe, and this shoe is really geared towards the recreational player, the person that is really more on the stylish side. They play a little bit of pickleball, but they're not meaning to be on the courts all day long. So casual wear, something you wear around the house, go for walks, that kind of thing. $115 for these. You get a 10% discount using our code in the description below. So it does put shoes right at $100 plus shipping and tax, however they do that. So let's talk about the features in these, and then we'll just talk about how they feel and what I think about them. So they do have performance mesh upper. So they do have all of this is breathable fabric all the way around here on every spot of this shoe. It is covered in some areas with this logo, just going with the style points there. It's not going to breathe that well here, but the tongue is all mesh. So it'll breathe on the tongue here and it'll breathe over here. What they've also done is they've got a Flo foam midsole. So the midsole here has a little bit of shape to it. So inside here, this pinches up against your arch a little bit, and it gives you a little bit of support on the side right here, right in the middle of your foot. So that's why we call it a midsole. The foam midsole here is also part of the insert down here, gives you that arch support on the inside of this shoe. What they've said is this is a carbon rubber. So it's carbon mixed with rubber, and it's got this herringbone pattern. So they call that a herringbone when they're crossing like that, and that's supposed to give it more grip. It's got a little bit of an indentation right here on the bottom of the shoe. Let's look at this guy here. Same thing here, a little bit of an indentation and a couple different tread patterns on here. I will say that these shoes are stiff, so they're made to be broken in a little bit. So you're gonna have to wear these in a little, like I talked about before, so your feet don't get too tired. Wear them around the house a little bit. If your feet get tired, take them off, wear something else, and then kind of get up to where you can wear them longer, especially if it's shaping your feet. If this is giving you arch support and your other shoes didn't have arch support, then it's going to take a break-in period for your feet to get used to the shoes and to mold to the shoes just as the same as the shoe is molding to your feet. Now it has a pretty good plushness here. It's not overly thick on the heel cap, but it's still good support around here. The heel cap all the way around here, you can feel it's got TCF inside here, holds its shape, and this has a little bit more lateral stability than the Selkirk we were just reviewing because it does have this fake leather overwrapping here that is stiffening this. I don't know how much. It doesn't feel like it has any of the TPU in here, but it does feel thicker on this material here. So it does give a little bit of rigidity to the wall of this shoe. But for $115, I think they're stylish. The ladies have a fair amount of colors, like 4 or 5 different colors that they can get. And the guys got, I think, a couple choices, not a whole lot of choices on the guys' side. But other than that, I think it's a decent looking shoe. I think it does have enough wide support on here, so enough lateral stability. You can see it's got a pretty low toe kick. So you see your toes up here, probably the ball of your foot might be up here. It's a little bit lower, so it's giving more stability to the whole side of the shoe, not necessarily just on the toe area. So a little bit lower on the toe kick on the side, but really that's where you're planting your feet. So really anything on the side of the shoe here that's extended past the shoe is going to give you more support. So you'll see that all tennis shoes do that. Just where they put the flare and how big that flare is the differences of the brands. And then the materials on the bottom, right? This carbon rubber, it's going to last. I've got a lot of rounds in this thing, and it still, you can tell it looks brand new on the bottom. So these things are not wearing out, even where I do toe drag. Now they do have the leather cover a little bit over the toe area as well, and that can give you a little bit more protection for those of us that drag our toes when we're getting up to the line or we're doing certain moves, but should have enough support there. All right, next up on the list is the Selkirk CourtStrike Pro. So this is the Pro version of the one I reviewed earlier. Let's talk about the upgrades. The price is $120, so this is $20 more than the first shoe that we looked at. So let's talk about the upgrades. Let's talk about the features that they're giving us on these shoes. It does have a lot of TPU in it, a lot of thermoplastic, polyurethane that they're putting all over this shoe. So let's talk about what it's doing for support. It has more support all the way down here to the edge of the foot. So this is really stiff. It comes up here. So they've got structural support in the edge all the way down through this heel cup, all the way down to this side here. You can feel that it's stiffer, and the TPU comes all the way down to here before it turns into this leather material. So on this side, you've got really good structural support on the lateral side with this TPU reinforcement. On the toe guard, so they've given a little bit more rigidity here, so a little bit more support underneath here, and the toe guard comes up higher. So you can see the toe guard now is way back over here. So what they've done is given us a lot of support on the toe guard, and what they've also done here is they've given you a drag spot here. So this is just more reinforcement here. You can see that I've dragged my feet on this, and I'm starting to wear down the corners just a little bit, but structural support here for those of us that toe drag, and it's got a nice little overlap to it. So you can see here, it's coming up well past middle as it wraps over here for those people that drag their feet. And then over here on the side, you can see it's coming way up here on the shoe. So if you're going to drag your toes, you can really protect it from getting on the leather here, up here, the whatever this material is here, and damage the shoe itself. So you'll be hitting the rubber bottom of the shoe. Now this one has what they call a 360-degree herringbone. And if you look at the bottom, these herringbones are going in different directions. And so that's supposedly to give you more traction on any surface that you're going on. The herringbones that's facing whatever direction that is help grab the ground more. That's the claim here, but very stiff shoe. So this is going to take a break-in period. You can see here that it has a really good stiff bottom, a lot of lateral stability here. So I like what they've done a little bit more here. They've kicked this out even more, and they've elongated it. So on the other version, it was just down here. Remember, I pointed that out, but now it kicks out all the way through here, which is well outside where your foot is. So you see your foot's way back here, but this is kicking way out here. So it gives you a lot of lateral stability. So this is made for people that are going to be on the court all day long, and they want this to be on their feet for long periods of time. They've done a little bit more with the cooling of it. So there's cooling all the way through here. They've got this rubber type material on top of it. Underneath this, it's all mesh. And so everywhere here that you can see this fabric, this is all mesh and breathable fabric. That'll help try and keep the shoe cooler so the foot doesn't get so steamy inside there. And even the tongue, again, the tongue protector is also a light fabric with holes all the way through it. So these shoes do breathe pretty well. And they do have a little bit more dense foam in it. So the inserts that come in this, it kind of cups your heel, and you can tell it's pretty structurally sound, a little bit thicker than the other ones. So I found a little bit better cushion here. I still have to wear inserts in my shoes, but I wore these shoes for a very long time and played a lot of games in them, and still can put them on, and they feel very comfortable. A little bit of a break-in period like I talked about earlier. So any new shoes you're getting, you're going to have to break them in. That's just the way. But I'm going to show you a trick here at the end of this video that'll help you widen your shoe without damaging it. And so me, I have wide feet. And when you have wide feet, sometimes these shoes that are not coming in wides, they're a little bit tight on you. So you got to do something to make it a little bit more comfortable so your foot doesn't go to sleep. I've had that happen. My foot is squeezed so hard that it starts going to sleep. $120 on the Selkirk store. You get a gift card in the mail after 30 days by using our code INF-Pirates. And I will move on to the next shoe. And one small disclaimer before I jump into this shoe review. I have wide feet. If I can't get a 10 wide, I have to go a 10.5. None of the shoes I'm going to review in this video are wides. So anything I'm talking about, always think about going a half size larger so it's a little bit more comfortable on your feet. That's what I do. I wear a 10 wide or a 10.5 regular. So that's what I'm just giving you that disclaimer, because I'm not going to mention it as we go through all these videos, because I would just be repeating and repeating and repeating. Get a half size larger on any of the shoes I talk about today if you have wide feet. And don't forget, I'm going to show you a trick at the end of this video on how to widen your shoes without damaging them. Sometimes you have to do it 2 or 3 times, but it widens the shoe. It doesn't damage it. It takes some of the pressure off one of your feet if one's a little bit bigger than the other. That's my problem. So enjoy. Next on our list is the Takumi from Kanso. Kanso is K-A-N-S-O, and it is a Japanese company with a Swedish flair, is the way they kind of tout this. They go for a very simplistic design. They're not very flashy with all their logos, very clean cuts, very simple shoes. They've done some pretty cool things in the shoes that I'm going to point out here in a little bit, but I'm just going to go through the specs like I've been doing, talking about what these shoes are like. Specifically, these are for pickleball. Everybody's saying that that these are pickleball shoes, not tennis shoes. And what that means is that it's going to have more lateral stability than tennis shoes. And I'm not going to get into the science of that, but that's usually what they mean when they talk about this. This is significantly lighter than a lot of the shoes. So this model here is under 13.5 ounces, which is pretty light when it comes to high technology shoes. Now these shoes retail for $130. You do get a 10% discount using our code in the description below. But what they've done in this is they try to make it feel low to ground. It's not got you on a lot of lift. You're sitting pretty low within this rubber base here, the outsole, and you do feel a little bit more low profile, so you're not feeling elevated. They've done a lot with the lateral stability. One of the cool things that I think that they've done that's a little bit different than all of the shoes I've reviewed today is this kick point. And so I'm pointing out this kick point of how wide it comes right here. But when I turn this around, you'll see that this is actually higher than most of the other shoes. This is really more off of the toes. And so the thought process behind this is that if you're on your toes, which you should be a lot when you're playing pickleball, is that you're putting the pressure right where it needs to be for you to make effective cuts one way or the other is when you're pushing off from your toes. And so I found that this was very unique in this. The second thing I found that I really liked about these shoes is that they had little to no break-in period for me. They are a stiff shoe, but literally I could put these on and just play and they were fine. I didn't really get tired in them. So I thought that they did a really good job here with the insole, and they've got what they call Speedlight foam. And so it's got a good midsole, which actually a lot of cushion all the way through this. So it's definitely not super thick, but it is thick enough for you to have cushion when you're wearing them, and you could wear these all day if you wanted to. One of their claims is that they've done a lot of biochemist work with this, with an ex-Nike biochemist, and they've ergonomically shaped this shoe. Like I said early on, I've got wide feet. I found that these weren't that uncomfortable even for wide feet. So these are ones that I still probably would go a half a size too bigger just to have it more comfortable, but these were the least uncomfortable for me with wide feet out of the shoes that I've reviewed. They've got a lot of breathability into it, so they've got mesh in all of these areas, but they've also got structural support in here. So this leather gives a good structural support here, but it still gives breathing room on all of these areas. Now, I will say that this one does not have a breathable tongue like the other models. So this one does not breathe up here underneath the laces. So that's one drawback about this shoe. It's got all the gaps everywhere else except the top there. All right, next on the list is another shoe from Diadem. This is the Diadem Court Burst. Now, this is their top of the line. This is $149.95, and they put a lot of technology into this shoe. It is a pickleball design shoe. This is not a repurposed tennis shoe. This is a redesign specifically for pickleball. So let's go through the technology that they put in here. I'm going to talk about what I like about this. These are my mains right now. I've been wearing these. I love these shoes. Once they got broken in, they fit me really well, and I'm very maneuverable in them, and they're not overly heavy. So they're still under 15 ounces as far as the weight's concerned, which that's always good with a performance shoe. Performance shoes, when we're talking about the upper tier like we're doing right now, these shoes typically are for people that are playing a lot. These are for high amounts of hours. There's going to be a lot of mileage on these guys. That's why the price is a little bit more expensive, because of the materials they've put into these shoes. Still got that 4-directional herringbone on here. So we've got the multi-directional here and the different patterns that they put in here. It has the carbon fiber rubber mix. So once again, these things are going to last. I've been wearing these exclusively for a while, and you can't even tell, except a little bitty bit right here on the toe, that I've been dragging my feet with it, and they've given us some extra protection over here with it. But the outsole is very firm, and it's got we're talking really firm. Like, that's me pressing here. It has a very good stiff palate, so it's going to take a little bit of breaking into it. And what they've done with this outsole is really given us a very wide kick point. So you can see here, the balance point is down here a little bit below the ball of your feet, right? But look how far out this comes. This is, the edge of your foot is in here, and then it's coming out more than half an inch outside of that. So a lot of lateral stability with these shoes, and very comfortable, good support in the middle of your feet. Same kind of cushioning system inside here. So it's got that dense foam that feels pretty comfortable on your feet. So a little bit more on the thinner side, but still dense enough that you can feel like there's cushion underneath there. But if you like the soft, mushy insoles, you're going to want to change those for a softer insole. For the structural support, they've given lateral stability here. So I'm touching all the TPU, the thermoplastic polyurethane that they put put all the way up here to the side of the foot. So you can see how far that comes. So a lot of lateral stability that they're giving us here, all the way through, all the way around the heel. And then when they get down here, they've got this real rigid plastic type material, and that's covering from down here. So it's giving you support right in your arch, and then it's coming around over the toe all the way out here. So this is all for toe draggers. And so you got really protection all the way up to here to drag your toe, and tons of support here. So I really have appreciated that about these shoes, not getting the shoes scuffed up, not hurting my toes on it. Got a lot of good rigidity here, so good support. So if somebody steps on your toe, and then the rest of this is all mesh. And so all of this is mesh, all of this around here, all of this around here is all mesh, even here on top of the foot and all the way through the tongue guard. So the tongue guard also has mesh on it. So very breathable fabric for these. I really have appreciated these shoes, and the shoe treatment I'm going to show you here at the end. These were a little bit wider. I still got a half a size larger, still a little tight for me. So I widened these. I actually did it twice to make them really comfortable on my left foot. My left foot's a little bigger than my right foot. That's why I'm only doing it on one side. Right foot's fine. And the way that this comes up here, so this has got a low ankle bone protection. So like while it's kind of a mid top, it's not a high top, it's lower here so your ankle bone doesn't hit. Like sometimes these shoes come up too high and then your ankle bone's getting hit by the edge of the shoe. This comes in right underneath it, really good shape here, and then really good support, very stiff all the way back to here with a really good cushion. So very thick cushion back here that really keeps your feet really snug. It really kind of cups around your foot, and then it's thicker at the top than it is underneath, so your feet kind of sink in, and then it kind of cinches around the top. Other than that, this shoe is extremely comfortable. It comes in at $149.95. You get a 10% discount using our code in the description below. Really good shoe from Diadem. I like these shoes, and I enjoy playing in them. All right, we've made it home stretch here. This is the final shoe on our list. This is the Winner's Edge shoe. Now, this shoe is worn by Jay DeVilliers, Colin Schick, two of the pros that wear these shoes, and they've been around the game for a while, so they're very much a shoe that you can look for in the very, very high quality in the products that they use here. So let me just go over a couple of the features that I really appreciate about these shoes. First thing is this neoprene sock. And so if you can see this here, it's got this neoprene sock. You can just slide your foot into it and then it just cups around your feet. So really just kind of cinches around your feet, really keeps your foot stable inside the shoe. So that was really cool when you get that feeling. The second thing that I really like is they've got this overlace on these shoelaces. And so they call this tension strap lacing when you get to this type of technology. And so what it has is loops that are over where your feet reside. So it's not basically going from the material of the shoe. It's a little strap that comes on the top of the material and it overwraps over this material. So what it does is it takes the material and squeezes it towards your foot versus the laces pushing down on your foot. Kind of cinches the shoe around your feet. And so your feet will not move in these shoes with this neoprene sock and the tension strap lacing. The other thing that they've done that I think is really cool is the way that they've done this toe guard. And so they've got, starting here on the side of the feet, which gives you really good lateral rigidity. So really good for cutting, stopping and starting, moving side to side. A lot of support up here on the front of the foot because this wraps around and it's pulled by this tension strap. And this is a thicker type plastic material and then rubbery type material. And then the toe guard comes all the way around here. So look at this, it goes all the way around on top of the shoe. So basically you've got protection all the way over to the top of your shoes. Your toes are going to be way down here and we're covering all the way to the top. So really good support on the side here and really good for the toe draggers. This is a really good stability here and it's a rough material. Like it's going to take a while to wear these shoes out. Then they've gone and done really good with the breathing. So you can see the different size holes here. So there's bigger holes here and bigger holes here. This gives more airflow coming into these areas. So when you're moving around, you're at least getting some air on your feet to, keep you from getting swamp foot. So they're really trying to cool this off and it goes all the way around here to the back with this. On the sides here, they've got this raised up so your feet are actually more inside here. So this is really on a side wall of your foot. And this is the rubber material that comes up. And so the outsole here comes up and gives you support. And then underneath here, it's really stiff all the way through here. So it's got some of the TPU in here to thicken this. And then all of this back here. So all of this is like that hard rubbery material and gives a really good support around the heel. So like I said, your feet do not move in this and your feet do not twist in this. That's really the key of the higher end shoes, is that your foot's locked into place and there's no ankle rolls when your foot's really locked into place inside the shoe, and they've got great lateral support. I will say that these shoes for me were a little bit tight on my feet. I would still have to do that half a size larger for this shoe, but these were a little bit tight, especially as stiff as they come. So I had to definitely get a half size larger if I was gonna wear these shoes regularly. Like I could wear it, but I couldn't wear it for long. The other thing is this grip on the bottom here. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see how tight the weave is on this, and then there's bumps. And so you can't really see it on here, but it's wavy. And so this thing grips the ground crazy. You're not gonna slide in these. If you try to slide in these, you're gonna break something. That's how good these things grip. So very, very good on just about any surface I wore them on. The quality of the materials and then the quality of the technology in here, I'm not shocked that this is a $150 shoe. They've got good warranties. Winner's Edge has been around a while, and you can still get a discount on us. If you look in the code below, we've got a discount code for you to get 10% off on these shoes. Okay, as promised, I'm going to teach you a trick to widen your shoes if you have wider feet, and even you get a 10.5 or a half size too big and it still feels a little bit tight. So yes, I have a bag of water and I have it inside my shoe. So what you do is you get a gallon bag and you shove one end of the gallon bag as far as you can down there, and then you fill the bag with water, and then you put it in your freezer in a position like this if possible. If not, just make sure that the water stays here, and it will freeze overnight and it will expand the fabric here just enough to make it feel a little bit. So sometimes I've had to do this 2 or 3 times to really stretch them out good enough for them to feel comfortable for me. But this works. It doesn't damage the shoe, and it makes it just a little bit more breathable for you if you have a little bit wider feet and you like a little bit wider toe base. So yeah, that's my trick for you guys. Thanks for using my code. Thanks for watching my video. Click like, click subscribe, leave me comments. Tell me how I can do this better for you. Tell me what information that you'd like to hear from me on what kind of products you want to hear, and I will do a review on it. Thanks for using our code. See you next time.